had some strong moments in the game, but certainly I think the problem with Jace in NA in general has never really been that they don't have any good moments or that they can't lane. It's that the teams have struggled to close out games and struggled to use the Jace to do that, to really explode their lead with that Jace and take over the game in the mid game and then just close it out before Jace kind of starts to fall off. But that being said, another flex pick being banned out. Actually, a lot of flex picks, really. We've seen Jace jungle, we've seen Jace bot. Yasuo can certainly be flexed into multiple roles. Cassio and Silas here as well. So flex picks, the name of the game in the ban so far.
And LeBlanc also gone, as Froggen's like, you know, I tried playing it, not my style. Hui, you're not going to get this one yourself. Of course, LeBlanc tends to be, of course, quite good into most control mages. You jump in there, you get past some of the ranges and do a bunch of bursts. So also kind of sets up for what we expect Golden Guardian's winning style to be.
Yeah, and I really want to see Froggen stick with his own unique champion pool, right? I feel like he has had the most success on the Karthus and the Victor and even his Anivia. These sorts of picks that other people are not really playing, but he is so damn good at. It fits the way that he wants to play the game, and I think it makes the most sense for him. I know there are kind of detractors of that style saying that he should be sticking to meta picks, but I actually think that if you can play with a level of mastery on some of these picks that are outside the meta a bit, your opponents have such a harder time actually preparing for you because there are so few great Anivia players, for example, in the mid.
Yeah, you literally can just never scrim against an Anivia as good as Froggen's. And okay, it can be weird when you're Golden Guardian scrimming as Anivia. No one wants that practice. I get that can be difficult on the flip side, but there is not a soul who's going to be prepared for that matchup, and I think it really can be valuable. Either way, Lucian on the table. Zoe grabbed up now as well, so Froggen's going to make a pickup here onto this one. Has yet to play the champion so far this split. Certainly is a high damage champion. It can fit that mold, but more of a poker than a team fighter.
Yeah, certainly is. It's much more about being able to push people off objectives. It does actually hold areas around neutral objectives, and fighting into Zoe can be extremely difficult when you're coming towards her and she has vision control. Landing that poke can be very, very terrifying, and it's actually Hui playing the Victor, so he's taking a bit of a page out of Froggen's book here, grabbing much more of the control mage, something that Froggen has had a lot of success on, and it's parity in the draft so far.
Yeah, that Victor can still be flexible. We know Sunday played it earlier on in the year, but also seeing the Zoe, who is 99.9% going specifically mid lane, that would be an easy spot to just say, yep, here's our mid laner to answer it. I do think it's very likely he does bring this champion out himself.
Yeah, exactly. And it's possible, as you say, that it is flexed around, but we are assuming that those are both the mid laners. Lucian has been getting through the bans more. With the most recent nerf in the patch, it didn't actually really knock down his presence a massive amount. It is kind of letting him through the bans more, and he is starting to see some play. We'll see if Golden Guardians can actually, get a lead down for themselves in that 2v2, where they haven't been as effective this year, certainly, as we've seen these guys been in the past.
Always interesting seeing something like a Nocturne ban here for 100 Thieves. I feel like split pushing can often be a very good winning condition for them, and Nocturne supplements split pushing well, so supplements the 1-3-1. You join in, suddenly you're 2v1ing a jungler on the side lane. We saw Malphite beat Vladimir because of that kind of stuff. Huni back in the day had a Malphite Nocturne 2v1, and that worked okay, but they're not going to get that one, even though they could first pick a jungler. Olaf off the table as well.
And I also just think because coordination is so paramount in pro play, Nocturne makes it much more difficult to actually read the situation during team fights. It also is disabling teleports from coming through. These sorts of responses that are expected to be immediate in pro play are no longer able to be so. So I think Nocturne really does have a lot of power in that regard. Irene going to be sad to see the Rexon getting banned away, and we will have to wait another game at least to see it showing up.
We'll have to wait again. Now, what's the jungler picked up here? I think you don't grab a solo. You're going to grab Zac. It's going to be team fight. 100 Thieves saying, we're going to play for team fight prowess. It is how they won the previous game. They came back with team fight after team fight.
I would think we would see a Lee Sin probably coming through for contracts. It has been such a popular pick for him. Volibear, as much of a kind of meme hover as it is, actually does work well into Zac because you can reject the slingshot with the roar. So if he wanted to go for it, would be cool, but don't think we're going to get it. Gragas, another one that does work here. You can actually use the body slam to interrupt that slingshot. Also is going to have some pretty powerful early game ganking, and is a champion that can kind of bully around that Zac in the early levels.
So Haunts are here to blind pick a top laner, and Ryze seems to be the hover right now. We'll see if that's going to be the guarantee, but that would work as a blind.
If they're going to lock this in, honestly, I would be such a supporter of something like a Mundo pick here. I actually think, though we never see it, tanks against kind of mono damage types on the top side of the map, the top laner, the mid laner, and the jungler are all going to deal magic damage. Mundo is so ridiculously resilient against that sort of style.
Yeah.
Picks like that, picks like even a Maokai can be incredibly effective, though Maokai, I think, struggles more. It's going to be Riven, so certainly you can still go towards things like the Hex Drinker and building in that way. You can get early Merc Treads, that can be very powerful, but someday running back the pick, that certainly did not work in the early stages for him at all. And honestly, in general, carries have not been looking very good in the top lane 400 Thieves, largely in part due to the fact that Someday and Onda are not working well together. We saw that when Someday brought out the Jace, they were constantly failing their dives and their 2v2 plays, even their 2v1 plays, yesterday as well. We saw the same thing happening when Onda's playing a J4, and as he's flashing in to engage, Someday is backing off. These guys have not been on the same page at all, and that is why I generally don't like carry picks for them, because you really do demand jungle presence when you're playing carry versus carry matchups. If you get behind, you can be worthless.
Absolutely the case. So Contracts versus Anda. Who's going to be in that lane fast enough? As we expect Rise versus Revan to be pretty volatile here. Headsets come off. Coaches shake hands. Probably only 1v1 in the handshake. He's going to be okay here. And we'll see how this one goes. It's going to be an exciting one here. A battle between teams in the exact same spot in the standings. 4 wins in each of these squads. There is room to grow. I can hope they can catch up with the top echelon of the teams here in the LCS.
And while they all are both tied in the standings, certainly I think the last couple weeks have been more encouraging for the Golden Guardians. They did have a very rough start, starting at 0-4. They are now 4-3 in their last 7, and have lost to some tough opponents. So we'll see how they're going to look here against 100 Thieves, who really was struggling yesterday against Clutch, sitting at last place.
And of course, we know that Clutch are waiting right behind them in the standings after picking up that win earlier on, and they're in that tie for 6th place. There's one playoff spot up for grabs unless you start picking up several more wins to catch up with FlyQuest and CLG. And we are onto the Rift now. Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves. Both these teams were expected to do quite well coming into the year. It's been a very slow start on both these sides, but with 7 games to play, they can still make up that. And Huhi lands the first shot.
It's always nice, actually, as little of a thing as it is, to start stacking your mana flow ban, and I'm assuming that he is actually taking that, and he is. So, getting that first hit does always feel really good, even though it's not the biggest of deals. The faster you get that mana flow ban stacked, the better you're going to feel as you start getting that consistent regen very, very quickly.
Now you watch this aggressive ward come down. I don't believe it was specifically spotted, although Golden Guardians could probably surmise this vision is here. I'm waiting to see where the junglers will actually start. Trinket ward comes down from Contracts. Anda sees it.
Going to be interested to see how Golden Guardians plays around the top side of the map, because I do kind of favor them, I think, in any early 2v2s. Certainly Rise plus Gragas, I think, should have a pretty good time in any 2v2 against that Zac, who's going to be fairly weak in the early levels. But that being said, once Zac starts getting more points into the Elastic Slingshot, it can be very difficult for Riven to actually, or rather for the Rise to push in on the Riven, because Zac can be attacking you from these angles that you're not necessarily able to ward out or expect. And if you get on top of the Rise post level 6 with Riven plus Zac, that is going to be very, very dangerous for him.
We watch these teams contest this early lane here as the charges are used by Golden Guardians. They're the ones pushing in early on, as Anda's doing a pretty safe clear so far of his own jungle.
Just going to be starting Raptors, very standard stuff with the Talismans. It's one of the most common starts you can do on Zac. Go straight to red. We'll see where he elects to go from there. I do see some Zac players just completely skipping going to Scuttles at all and just trying to do a full clear, because they do feel that Zac's dueling is so weak, and if you get caught out, it can be very, very dangerous. But in pro play, you're often seeing them going to try to contest for one Scuttle, just trying to avoid the Gragas with the vision that they have out on the map, and probably go to the other one.
Minor point here, Hanser is doing Phase Rush here on the Rise. It's very easy to get just EWQ off on a target and then kite away, so he can dodge ganks pretty well in this one, but it will not have like that aftershock tankiness to withstand a big chunk of burst. Just a quick look over on that one. This Contracts is going to be taking a very uncontested fight for the Scuttlecraft.
Yeah, and so many pros do really like Phase Rush in general. We're seeing even more these days on Orianna has come out, because they feel that at this skill level, having the move speed is just so valuable, because they're so much better than your average player at actually dodging out on skill shots and chasing people down, and just essentially their mechanics make more use of that added speed. So while it's not always as effective for your standard solo queue players, it can be very, very good in pro.
So he's getting pretty low on mana already, and is, of course, cleanse here on the Victor, but has to rely now on biscuits and everything else to get this. Zach gonna bring the jungle to life and fight them both at the same time. Of course, plenty of AoE on the kit. The Q hits them both as well, and gonna stay safe enough. Smites will knock them both down.
Yep, and so Anda didn't actually end up going for either of the scuttles. So this is just him doing a full clear of his own side. He's going to poke down and see that that scuttle is in fact gone, go back to his wolves, and it will be that 6 camp clear into a recall, which you're generally going to feel pretty good the longer the game goes, and the Gragas hasn't actually gotten off any ganks. Zach just wants levels. Experience is so critical for this champion to increase the range of your elastic slingshot and also have lower cooldowns on your abilities in general. That level 3 gank is usually pretty hard to pull off. The elastic slingshot range is just so small.
Okay, well, gonna be the first recall there, and gets Bombi's Cinder out of it after knocking down the wolves as well, so pretty easy stuff. And we'll see what round 2 of the jungle clear looks like as Contracts walks in, and I don't believe has ever quite seen Zach, so can't know for sure which camps are down, but can surmise without ever seeing him at Scuttle that he's taken all 6 of the other ones.
And as Raptors do respawn, you will see Anda as they do show up. And
early smite for Contract, so all of it goes over to Anda, and that's actually just a slight mistake right there, and all that time spent means nothing.
Yeah, gonna feel nice for him, but Contract's still in a good position because he got both the scuttles. He still has a couple camps to actually retreat back to and farm. And meanwhile, Anda doesn't really have anything to do until the Krugs do come back up. So he's gonna be moving in, trying to get perhaps a little bit of vision. And he is actually looking to steal away the wolves, which is somewhat risky. When your mid laner is in base, you're probably not gonna win the 1v1 against the Gragas. We'll see if Zoe wants to come collapse.
Okay, well there's gonna be the body slam, bit of damage here. Anda gonna be slow, but charges up the E and able to walk right back out as long as you can save that one. And you wait out the body slam, he's gonna be okay. Now a trade on the top side, good damage out for Someday, but has to respect the fact that there's gonna be a trade back in as Haunter puts him to half HP, and Riven does not have a lot of health regen, so it's gonna be a long road back up.
Yeah, as soon as the shield is down there from that initial trade, you see that Haunter is able to get a really big burst back down. But now Anda just up here really to escort the wave in. He doesn't want to allow Haunter to kind of freeze that wave in a bad spot, so he's showing up just in case Gragas is there, because Riven is pretty vulnerable when you're that far pushed up.
Nice little chunk right there as Bang puts some shots towards Deathly. Bottom lane, though, fairly close to equal. Lucian not really bullying the Ezreal just yet.
Yep, but Bang already has used his teleport, went back, got a tier, grabbed the cull, so looking to just play this pretty passively, scale up, and Deathly has not yet looked to base. And generally, you want to see someone like the Lucian using an early base, trying to get a good item buy so you can bully this lane, so you can actually delay that Ezreal a bit, and he's going to be going back now. It is worth noting that it is TP Lucian also, which I think is fairly atypical. We do generally see TP on the Ezreal. You see it a fair bit on things like Sivir, but I definitely have not been seeing it nearly as much on Lucian.
Yeah, definitely interesting. He's definitely doing it for a bunch of lane priorities, that he can never sort of let Ezreal get the back and then suddenly be ahead on the push by getting that tier or Sheen by and then being right back in lane. And well, we'll see if they're able to get turret pressure because of this. It's certainly worse than the actual team fights. It's worse than the 2v2s if there's an actual brawl. This way definitely won't lose any farm.
Also pretty interesting to note that Haunter does elect to go Lost Chapter before his tier. That is very rare to see from the Rise players, but this is more power immediately, right? So this is less about the scaling, more about him trying to bully Someday and match the power of that early Caulfield's buy, which is always going to be so good for Riven with that early CDR.
And once again, pops the shield and runs away, and now it's going to be almost gets the trade. Doesn't find the stun, but could be enough. Someday, no, the Q's not going to land onto him, but he's almost ready the flash. The no! He guessed wrong. Haunter dodges it, no kill in the top lane.
Yeah, Someday definitely could have had that. He could have waited till after the flash there. It looked like he's just mashing it out. Misses the ultimate, also missing the W stun in that 1v1, and Haunter barely able to get away with his life. Despite that early power buy of the Lost Chapter, Someday running the lane so far, but both these guys have no TP and no flash, so jungle intervention could mean a lot.
Really could. Haunter's health bar pretty low, but you've got an Infernal Drake coming through to Golden Guardians, and that is certainly a payoff for playing the more aggressive bottom lane. Lucian Alistar pushing the Ezreal and Braum into the turret, and they will get the Infernal Drake and Golden Guardians.
Especially when your jungler is going to be building AP, your top laner is going to be building AP. This is not a couple of tanks. It's not a Sejuani and a Sion.
Yep, 4 champions all really care about that Infernal, so one of the better comps you could have it here. And we'll see now the gold lead just so slight towards 100 Thieves, and again, sort of expected result when you've got a Kleptomancy champion. So looks like a pretty solid early game for Golden Guardians. They're scaling pretty good. Ryze in side lane is pretty solid, but I feel like Ezreal and Victor and Zac scale for a very long time.
Yeah, definitely the case. I think the Lucian versus the Ezreal, I think is going to be more of the problem. It can be tougher, I think, for Lucian to really get in and be involved against a number of these champions who have quite a bit of threat to get to him. Obviously having a lot shorter range there, and both junglers being drawn up to that top side. Otta has been pretty consistent about trying to take away some of these camps, but hasn't really been able to be very successful with it just yet. That being said, he's always holding on to the elastic slingshot. He's staying safe, so not being too aggressive, and I think it's worth the opportunity cost.
Yeah. Looking at the top line right here, though, as Hauntzer has been taking a second recon, this time without teleport, so the wave shoved in and a bit of the farm denied. Someday already on 2 CDR items with the No Magic Mantle as the tier is now picked up. But the first turret plate actually went towards the Riven. This was Hauntzer, of course, blind picking the Ryze, so it's Sumday's choice of matchup, and after that one fight, able to take a plate down in melee versus range. Yeah,
doing a very good job, honestly, and largely in part due to the fact that he kind of was winning that 1v1, right? He went for it with the flash and the ultimate, almost getting the solo kill, not quite, but still looking very good. And he's kind of grabbing the Garage Sale CDR, has a Kindle Gem, has a Caulfields. I think the early null buy is smart. You're going to want Merc Treads against this team for sure, when it's magic damage from the top 3, plus a lot of CC, point and click, from that Ryze. So I think grabbing the early null is something that can be pretty easily overlooked, but is very effective against these pure magic damage matchups.
Absolutely the case. Merc Treads, I feel like, is very likely to come through for too long. Plenty of obvious crowd control on this composition, and yeah, Someday up in gold in the matchup. He's missed XP on basically 1 minion over his opponent, and is looking fairly solid overall.
I'm going to be interested to see exactly where Someday goes with the build, though. Does he want to, as we see, Ryze?
Oop, gonna find a bit of a slow, pulls him back in, the flash, but no.
Oh, he
cannot get the ult off in time, and just gonna lose the flash for nothing.
Yeah, flash and ult, both down, so a lot of his playmaking off the table now. That was a flashless Ryze. Again, this is
the
not
repeat.
coordination.
Flashing in, look at the ignite, so much damage, bang, he's gone. And now a 3v1 under the turret, Aphromoo, his days are numbered. Stopwatch buys 2 seconds, they drop the aggro, looking for the re-engage there, and there's the kill. 2 in the bottom lane, that's what a gank's supposed to look like, Anda.
Yeah, very well done from the Golden Guardians bottom lane. Onda fails the gank. They're not coordinated, him and Someday. This is time and time again. They cannot work together as this 2-man squad, and Contracts, knowing that there's no chance of a counter gank, makes it happen on the bottom side.
Shows up to find something. Now
again.
here's the 1v1, finds a stun, ult is on, good damage towards Hauntzer. He's gonna walk away before he's gonna ever pull turret aggro.
Yep, pulls up that passive shield, able to absorb a lot of that, and that one was not too threatening. Hauntzer easily able to survive, but this is again a situation where they know that Onda has shown topside. They're gonna go in. Olay has level 6, nails the combo onto Bang, actually separating the headbutt and the pulverize, knocking him into the wall, then knocking him up for maximum CC, tanking so many shots with that ultimate. Really well played by Olay, Contracts, and definitely that was perfectly juggled, perfectly handled. They get in and they get out. They get the 2 kills, and the stopwatch is off the table.
Really nicely done. Golden Guardians looking solid here, and their comp is still skewed a little bit towards early game. I think some of these champions are certainly there for the laning prowess and the early ganking prowess, but they are off to a great start. 700 gold up, Inferno Drake on, Cloud Drake in 43 seconds, and they're poised to do very well in here and keep that press towards playoffs going.
Yeah, it's looking good for them. And Blade of the Rune King now already completed here for Deathly. Going to be feeling really strong at this point in time, and they could be looking for more continued plays to this bottom side. Dragon's going to be up in 30. I think they should be playing for that with the stronger bottom lane at this point in time.
See if we can find something. Quick red buff still going to Contracts, and we know the single summoner spell is down to the 100 Thieves side, but in that bottom lane. TPs and flashes back up for all the top laners here. The mid lanes have been pretty much untouched in their trading farm, almost identically back and forth. Now another fight here top side. They find the stun. That's going to be a good flash for Hauntzer going back towards his team, but first Tuhi in range, and they're going to find the stun off the W. There's the lot of damage coming through the ult as well. They might get the next little bit. Someday comes through and finds it. There's a kill on the board for 100 Thieves.
I feel like Hauntzer could have just flashed down to Contracts. Instead, he's going into the river. He doesn't know who he is, and I think you just proc the phase rush and you run straight back to the Gragas, and that's an easy escape instead. Does end up getting taken down. It costs 100 Thieves a couple ultimates, a couple summoners. So it certainly wasn't a free kill, but...
Oh, Oh, he walks into the stun though, so Froggen actually loses as much health as he took. Denies the cannon, that's at least something.
Yeah, I think he'll take that trade, and it's going to push Huhi back out. Another plate going to be going the way of Someday here. That's 3 already down on that top side. Onda making something happen again. You know, is putting on some pressure, although they certainly haven't been able to make it look perfect.
Well, let's flash
Here
down.
we go.
Follow. Froggen finds himself the solo kill in the mid lane. That's true to form here.
Really well done from Froggen. Just absolutely deletes Huhi, and then Onda gonna walk up, drop the Herald, and donate the plates over to Someday here. First tower, 2 plates. That is such a huge gold injection. If you check it out, he's up about
1,600?
Yeah, 1,700 even, almost. Pretty huge lead off of that pressure from the jungler and the Rift Herald drop. All those plates are just so valuable.
Can't quite calm the rest of the Herald down. Will take a chunk off the turret. Now Froggen using Huhi's flash to escape. No harm or foul there. Mid lane, of course, quite low on top of this one, as Froggen has pushed in quite a bit, and we'll see that plate count in a little bit, but certainly a pretty action-packed through the game, finally.
Yeah, very action-packed, honestly. Both teams kind of battling back and forth. Onda certainly playing to that top side, really trying to make this ribbon pick work. Here it is one more time. Froggen, Huhi already fairly low, elected to actually not go back, gets hit with the sleep, does flash out, but Froggen has flash to follow. Just really well executed there by Froggen. That is the power of Zoe. With Cleanse down, you can get lit up like that.
And there's, yeah, 5 plates for 6. Looks like there's about 2 in the bottom lane, 3 in mid. Of course, 5 top and the 1 traded back.
And I think the key difference really is, though, that so much of that plate gold and turret gold is all isolated on Someday, right? It's actually better to have all of that gold on one person generally. They can make more of it than everyone getting little bits and pieces. So we'll see if they get this pick onto Aframo. TP's even coming in.
All right, burns his flash. He's out of spells now. 3v1. Definitely can almost get into range, but there's no follow-up crowd control available, so he's going to be able to walk away, and Braum stays alive. Game back to almost equal, though. 200 gold separates these squads. It's definitely in Froggen carrying on the one side, Someday on the other.
You will certainly have to give some credit over to the double dragons that have been taken. That is worth, I don't know exactly how much gold, but certainly Infernal does scale very well into later stages. Haunter maybe getting caught here.
Quite a bit. Good chunk down, and Zach's coming by as well. Do they have the damage that gets away from the Q? Might have it. Yes, he does. A solo kill under tier 2 turret.
Yeah, end up flashing in, but not even getting the assist there. Someday lighting Haunter up. Has the gold lead, and now making good on it. Haunter really in trouble in this 1v1.
Getting pretty scary. You can see the mid lane, of course, that leads pretty nice. Another Q is going to land. Nice flash get away from Ole, but it doesn't matter. Contract finds the kill anyway. Now how about the re-engage as Zach shows up. Wait for the squad as well as Someday has TP'd in. Pulls back into Zach, and Ole doesn't have an easy way out either. This poor Alistair's been sucked right back up on top of a ribbon. Stunned yet again. Ole's trying to run, but the health bar reads O as well.
I think we'll have to watch that one more time, but it looked like Ole tried to predict a flash from Huhi. I think he tried to do the play that Vulcan pulled off, but Huhi didn't even have flash. So he flashed to predict, and there was no flash coming out from Huhi. If he had that just to escape, he might have just been able to walk out.
Well, still a crazy fight right here, though. Going back and forth with these kills, it's still a very tight game. And we have a bit of a lull once again as that action falls down, and it's kills for kills. There's no Drakes up.
Yeah, so we'll watch this one more time. He goes in, and I think he is trying to predict, yeah, he's definitely trying to predict a flash from Huhi, I think, there. He's expecting Huhi will flash out, but he had already hit the initial part of the combo, and you gotta time your summoners. The flash was still not up for about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that being down, imagine if Ole has his flash there. He just flashes out of that Zach
right there, he's flashing.
Froggen. He's probably very easily going to survive, or at the very least, force some more summoners and abilities. Yeah. Certainly a mistake for Ole. Tries to go for the big play, and
yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, I am kind of curious in digging into that flash cooldown, even though it's such a microcosm of the game, because Froggen saw it in clear sight.
Yeah.
And if Ole's getting like, hey, what's Victor's flash? Like, did he think to not ask? Did Froggen not tell him? I'm not sure, but clearly some miscommunication, some kind of thing there, because it was a known quantity. Either way, yeah, it's an unfortunate death to give away.
Yep, definitely the case. It's one of those things, though. Pros are not perfect at timing summoners.
They're human.
And that is one of the advantages that some of the teams do have. It's one of the things that you don't see on broadcast. If a team has someone who is typing out summoners and timing them perfectly the entire game, you wouldn't see them make a mistake like that. But it's not necessarily going to come across on broadcast. You're not necessarily
Yeah.
always going to notice it.
Shout out LEC, they have the point of view streams. There was one, they were talking about Alfari types all his stuff in chat. He's like, Renekton has silent control in team chat. Like, instead of telling it on comms, so I found that interesting. But
That is very interesting.
random stuff there. You can sometimes pick up little bits from the pros.
All right, well, 100 Thieves grouping up mid lane, 5 mid, looking to try to pressure this tower, and I think they're trying to get mid lane advantage to be able to push that in and then go over to this Infernal. This is a dragon they have decided they want to fight for. Not willing to give up a second Infernal over to Golden Guardians. We'll see if Froggen can try to poke anyone out before this.
Let's see what we find. They're waiting around. And all the players are right here. Connor's in the front line. Zach pulling back the slingshot, but not going to go for it. Has to wait again. Now this Drake coming lower and lower. The jungle's going to get in range for the smite at some point. Contract's actually sussing out where Anda is. Pushing him off that one, and that means it's a disengage because there is no smite contest.
Yep, the dragon does get reset, but they unleash it one more time. It's still down about 2k HP. We don't know where Onda is, but he's likely over around the blue buff looking for a slingshot, I would assume, and there he goes.
Smited up by Contract. Now the team fight is there, but he's already in a Blobblitz, and the explosive cask disengages. They might try to kill these things off. They're getting lower, and yes, Anda will in fact die. And Bang had teleport, but never pressed the button.
Yeah, and Onda just backing off. He's trying to slingshot in to perhaps combo it with that elastic slingshot, but waits a little bit too long. Contract's able to grab it with a nice smite there. Double Infernal advantage over to Golden Guardians, and they are still ahead in gold, despite the fact that Someday is really strong in this 1v1. Overall, it's Golden Guardians who are dictating the pace of the game.
An aggressive horde lets Someday feel fairly safe. He goes for more damage on this turret, down to half HP. Does he dive Haunter again? Pops the ult. This is, I don't want to go for this one.
Just kidding.
Decides better of it.
It's just a prank, bro.
Just a prank.
Gonna walk out of there.
All right.
Well, he is building very heavily for the 1v1. Maw plus the Merc Treads are going to be really, really difficult, I think, for this Rise to deal with. I'm going to be interested to see if Hunter goes towards something like an early Void Staff to try to help deal with that, or if he wants to defensively itemize something like Azanya's. But really, the only people who can answer somebody in a side lane are always going to be dealing that magic damage. So building towards that, I think, really makes a lot of sense.
Of course, at this point, he could possibly do Morellonomicon, but that wouldn't line up very well with Riven's high MR stack. Flat Pen, bad against MR stackers, but it can go Leandries or, as you mentioned, Void Staff. Even Rylas can build basically what he wants to do here in this one. We'll wait to see what comes through, as that Rise must find a way to answer the Riven in some way without giving away too much of the map.
And to be fair, as long as Haunter can wave clear and not get dove, your 4v4 is stronger, right? Your team is up 2k. Haunter is still in the 1v1 up 2k. So that means in the 4v4, your team is behind 4,000 gold. So Haunter doesn't need to fight. You just need to wave clear.
Well, they're going to try for this one, though, as Haunter's on half HP. Once again, the ult comes through. Here's the shield. He's running as fast as he can. Plenty of damage, and Someday just cuts him down where he stands.
Haunter absolutely misplaying. That doesn't even use the Seraphs, doesn't even use the Flash. And as I'm saying, there's no reason to fight him. All you have to do is wave clear. Your 4v4 is so much stronger. Sit under the turret, suck it up, and wave clear.
You have to do it. No arm guard either. No stopwatch. He's not building quite the defense maybe that he needs to survive the tower dives that they would come in later. And Someday getting a lot more done. He'll knock down this outer turret. There's no contest for him. The farm keeps going up on his side of the map. Down that goes. Definitely split pushing a little bit on the side. And Someday still has some time. They need to track the rest of the Golden Guardians members, but so far he's okay to do this. Absorbs the tower shot, and there's a quick pause.
Golden Guardians asking for a pause there, so we will let you know as soon as we found out what the issue is.
I was told it's on Golden Guardian's side. League officials checking headsets was the words I heard. I'm not sure exactly what that means in specifics, but this is something they're going to be doing.
Yeah, it could be just an audio balance issue. Sometimes the players feel their teammates are too loud, too quiet, something like that. We'll find out.
I frequently feel my producers are too loud.
But either way, I do think that this is a game that it is clearly very defined strengths. For 100 Thieves, they have the huge side lane advantage. It's now a 3,000 gold lead for Someday in the 1v1 after he gets another kill, as well as knocks down that turret. But the 4v4 is still incredibly strong for Golden Guardians, so they need to really kind of pick and choose how they're going to play out this game. You also have to take in consideration, as you said, the scaling of the Zac, the Victor, and the Ezreal. Most people would say is far superior. So it's going to be dangerous if Golden Guardians are kind of allowing somebody to dictate the pace of the game too much. They need to be pressing. They need to be forcing objectives, I think, and looking for fights with this 4-man squad. And they're trying to set up around Baron. They're trying to utilize the neutral advantages.
All right, well, the players said that they are ready, and we will be unpausing the game pretty soon, it looks like, as Afro and Froggen were the respective emissaries of the squad, and indeed the unpause coming back through. So we're getting back into the game here into this one. As you're mentioning, Golden Guardians have the 4-on-4 lead, but Someday is blasting Haunter in the 1-on-1. He chose the Riven, even though it was a very bad game for him against Huni on the Karma. He takes on Haunter's Rise, and he is smashing right now. CSD is +0, whatever. 3,000 gold matters. No, that's a deletion. It's Froggen versus Someday here, and Braum is gone.
Yeah, just absolutely pops him, and it was just a league official checking on if the white noise was actually working and coming through in the headsets. There was some question about if that was happening. Okay. Everything was fine, so we are back into game here. And to Someday's credit, yes, he got very far behind in the 1v1 against Huni, but Tank Karma very tough to deal with, and he did get dove by the Nocturne at level 2 or 3, so that was pretty rough. And after Clutch, who certainly made a lot of mistakes, Someday did get strong in that 1v1 and was able to take the advantage. And here it is going to be one more time. Let's take a guess. It's a sleep into a one-shot. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know if the E was on cooldown, but almost every Braum ever will always put the shield up when he falls asleep. It usually blocks the first Zoe Q.
He was fighting for vision, so he could have actually used it earlier, and they're trying to collapse on Someday here, but he is...
Oh, that was a flash. This one, Ole needed to predict. And he wasn't able to do it. Someday getting away from the headbutt and pulverized.
Yeah, that was a really good flash there from Someday, and there's a sleep.
That's what it's supposed to look like. You absorb the entire Q and it's fine.
But to be fair to Afro, we don't know if the E was down because he was clearing the vision, and if Froggen's constantly poking at you, might not have been available. But either way, Someday without the flash is going to have to be a lot more careful because, yes, the Rise ultimate was committed, but it's not as though they used Dragon's Flash and all these abilities, so they could certainly try to redo that play one more time. This is going to give Haunter some time in the side lane where Someday is probably playing a little bit more carefully. And Haunter has built that Void Staff to try to answer some of this magic resistance as expected. So we'll see if the Golden Guardians 4 can continue to run the map with this next Cloud Dragon coming up.
15 seconds, and I really do like both Infernal and Cloud for team fighting. At this point, it'll be, I think, a good 4.5% move speed in combat. That's pretty nice. And you've got the extra stats, of course, 17% attack damage and ability power. Not a slouch either. And Death Cap is now done for Zoe.
Yeah, and for Rise, when you're proccing that Phase Rush, you're getting even more move speed, so that can make it a lot easier to try to escape from this Riven, who is certainly in the advantage. Definitely doing, kind of a bit more atypical build, I think, here, going for the Essence Reaver second after the play with Rune King.
Yeah.
Maybe building up into something like a PD. I'm expecting then going back towards the IE.
Might fight. Ooh, actually a bit early for Anda, and Haunter does the last little ticket damage himself, but nice attempt on that steal, but can't quite get it through.
Yeah, Contract's not even using the smite that time, was just grabbed up by Haunter.
Yeah.
Tough one to steal there for Enda, so hard to blame him for that one, but still, this is 4 Dragons to 0 for Golden Guardians. They have vision around this Baron. You can see there's no 100 Thieves wards really over in that pit area. They're trying to maintain vision control in their side of the jungle, and that's where I want to see Golden Guardians attacking next. You want to see them not just maintaining vision around the Baron pit, but actually pushing up that line of vision into their opponent's jungle, where they can then farm away those camps and deny access from 100 Thieves to even look into the Baron pit.
And those edges are those pieces where 100 Thieves still have a little bit of vision. They've got one in that western jungle. They've got one at the mouth of their red buff. There's little pieces of pockets 100 Thieves can see, not on the Baron itself, but as that ward comes down, they have enough to surmise what's going on here, and it feels like they're doing all right.
Yeah, they certainly are so far, and that's why Golden Guardians needs to kind of push that forward and utilize the Zoe as well, right? If you have no vision, face checking into potentially a Zoe and Alistar Gragas is so frightening walking into that jungle. We've seen how quickly Afro can die as, very good read from Someday. Gets out of there in time as 5 men were collapsing to the bot side here from Golden Guardians, looking to punish that split pusher again and looking to try to buy more time for Haunter, who is pretty far behind. I mean, this is pretty woefully behind. 3 items now completed with Maw plus Death Dance, as well as 40% CDR with this 3-item build that he has. It just feels like you don't even hurt them anymore. There's so much lifesteal. There's the damage reduction from Death Dance, which is then being absorbed by the shield that is being spammed out from Riven, and it gets so hard to actually ever knock him down.
I really don't like Oblivion Orb coming in instead of something like Arm Guard. For the same cost, actually for cheaper, you get something like 45 armor, something absurd that would actually matter in the matchup, as opposed to 15 Magic Pen. That's a smaller number, and it does the same thing basically as a 1v1 sort of matchup. So Hanser's trying, though. He's building up towards some level of extra damage. And if he's hoping the team fight works out, and he's like, you know what? I will try to wave clear, and then I'll try to nuke the Ezreal in a team fight, then maybe that line of play does work, but he's got to get in those fights.
Yep, definitely agree. I think there is some logic there for sure. If you're just saying, okay, well, I can never fight the Riven 1v1 again, that probably makes some sense. So then you're just building to wave clear and hoping in the 5v5, as you say, you can catch the Victor or catch this Ezreal and blow him up.
Look for it. Somebody knocks down a ward and waits around. Easy wave clear here for Froggen, and so far having a pretty solid game on the Zoe. Finds their individual contributor to play on, and it's a good game.
Yeah, there's very high farm, honestly, kind of across the board, but Froggen and Deftly in particular have gotten so much gold from all this farm, from the turrets and the kills. They are sitting pretty, both on 3 items themselves, pretty ahead of their opponents, and that's why I want to see them continue to be proactive. Don't give so much time for Bang to stack up this second tier, right? He's much more vulnerable before he has that Seraph's complete. It's about 490 of the 750 stacked on that second one, so
it's pretty close.
They have reestablished vision control again around that Baron pit. We'll see if they can get anything more.
Zach is sleeping. He's just fine though. Out he goes. And the question is still the essentially split push of Someday, and I don't think Deftly wins the 1v1.
You do not want that fight.
That seems difficult, but he's got reinforcements coming down, and Someday doesn't go for the big play. I guess he's all right on this one. Out he goes entirely.
And Someday, credit to him, has actually survived all this time without his flash. It's back up now. That was forced in the bottom side. So playing pretty carefully around that. Now that he does have the flash, we could see him looking to get more aggressive.
And this is the story of the 2 big carries this game, obviously. Is Someday smashing the one side, Froggen smashing the other one. And CSD, not the important part, is the fact that they are very far ahead of their respective opponents. Now a slow onto Hanser, and even the rest of the team is trying to pick on this Rise. Flashing away, though. Joined back up by Anda, and the chase is there. The stun's going to be found, and a sad and 4th death for Hanser. No re-engage to be found. A quick pick. Now damage onto the turret as well, as Golden Guardians are behind them, and they might just find this a little bit of a play. A flash forced out. Explosive Cast not going to find anything either.
Yeah, not going to be able to get that nice pick on Hanser. This time uses everything, but just no real way out. It was a good early flash. He got the Seraphs down, and just getting caught out by that Zac, who has such powerful engage range, and that is why 100 Thieves are trying to maintain brush control on this side. And if you have that picked up, you can E in Elastic Slingshot from so far away. You really have to play with respect to the fact that the Zac could be anything.
Well, without the flash, it helps a little bit, but you're right. Those engage ranges are long. Someday's already pushed in that bottom lane, and he's waiting for it to come back to him now. Ocean Drake spawning in 3 seconds, same time the Hanser does.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to try to go for this. They've gotten 4 so far, and may want to try to continue stacking this towards a potential Elder Dragon win condition, as they haven't really been able to actually even attempt the Baron. Whoop. Nice bit of poke.
Zac is at half.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Warmogs or anything, so again, using the Zoe to actually get control of these dragons has been so effective. It's something that Phoenix has been doing a lot. Froggen doing a great job now. I mean, Aphromo just has to leave, right? This should be Golden Guardian's Dragon off of those 2 Qs. Just a great job by Froggen.
Someday is waiting in the wings, though. Instead of going for side lane pushing, he's trying to see if he can flank in this team fight. That's not going to happen just yet. Instead, Ocean Drake is picked up. Better poking and resilience for Golden Guardians.
And I think Someday what he's trying to do is waiting in that tri-brush, he wants someone to try to come get that wave, and he wants to kill them if they do it. You know, if you walk the greedy way from the Dragon Pit down to that bottom wave, you would be walking through that tri-brush, so won't actually result in anything, as Golden Guardians being pretty disciplined, no one getting lazy with that, and they are going to take kind of the safe path over vision, as you see Hanser walking down in the round, not going to be willing to check out any of those brushes.
Someday level 17 to the 16 of Hanser, who's still got no durability other than the Ninja Tabby and the Ruby Crystal that builds in a Nullifying Orb. Or Oblivion Orb. I keep getting that one backwards.
I mean, you can see how careful he's being, right?
He is.
There's a cannon there. He knows he's going to get slammed in the 1v1. He's just going to give it up. The game is not about you at that point. You know, for Hanser, he certainly knows that he's very far behind, and he just needs to minimize loss and try to hope that the rest of the team can carry.
Redemption helps with the wave clear, and no real shots come down into that turret. 100 Thieves not able to get anything down to the mid side. Game still close in gold, 1700. 5 Drakes, certainly a difference though, and an Elder is spawning in the next about 4. That's going to be relevant down the line. It's an easy objective trade. Golden Guardians will take either trade.
I think Thieves going to be feeling pretty good about their position in this game, though. They've been bought all this time by the Riven in the side lane. Golden Guardians was never even willing to try to bait the Baron or anything like that.
Yeah.
You now have your Ezreal on his completed 3 items, 2-tier stack. He has a QSS. How do you kill that guy at this point in the game? It gets very, very difficult. And Huhi has his fully upgraded Hex score. He's on the Lich Bane. He's quickly going to be at his 3rd item as well. So this Riven, even if it's not getting more done right now, has bought so much time for their other carries to really scale up. And 100 Thieves are better at this stage of the game. Their team fighting has been solid. Bang has been good in that regard, and you can certainly count on him for it.
No way to connect big play then. Maybe the neutrals, when they're both up, Golden Guardians have to find one to go for. And that maybe means something. Wave clear was able to happen in the bottom side. Morellonomicon now completed for Hanser. That's at least a little bit of something. As he's up to 3 major items plus boots. We're looking for a brush gank. No one's going to walk through that one just yet, but definitely is getting plenty of farm. 376, he's definitely in a good spot there. He's pretty close to Infinity Edge on top of that one. Not too much more to go. We're going to find a nice stun. A Drowsy there as well, a big chunk. And that's the passive pop, but on the other side is Ola. He's taking a bit of damage as well. Goes for big stun, but he's still getting worn down, and they will indeed get that kill as the Zac stays alive on the other side. Another 1 for 0. 100 Thieves getting ahead.
Yeah, Hanser wasn't there, so it was a 5v4. Despite the fact that they popped the Zac, it was actually really well done between Contracts and Froggen. Contracts making sure to actually not break the sleep as it was going to pop. So they could burst him down, but they just get the passive out. Hanser not there, so Olay does go down, and 100 Thieves maintain control in this Baron area.
Minions are cleared away, but it feels like the map is slowly going away from them as well. Froggen a half HP, but who he cannot quite chase this one. He's a very frontline damage-focused build with the Lich Bane built in there. All about repeated damage output. Being consistent, and now Someday finding another fight. Pops the ult, goes for damage on a Hanser. Suddenly Deathly's here, but can he win a 2v1? That answer is certainly yes, takes one down. Nice Cullen gets some damage across as he's burning. Death's Dance, he will almost lose the Guardian Angel. But you remember this day is the day you almost caught Someday. He's just fine.
He's gonna get out by the skin of his teeth there. Takes down Hanser, escapes from Deathly. Really nicely done.
Not even close. I agree.
Not even close. Hanser, getting punished a bit for not having gone for the earlier Zonias, right? He was sitting on the Morello. He does get absolutely lit up by Someday's Riven, who is nearing full build. Someday is clearly preparing for one big team fight. He has a GA, bought an additional stopwatch after that, and has his flash ultimate.
Olay getting chunked heavily down below 1,000, stunned up, ulti on, but it might still be enough. Headbutts back as Zac, and he's gonna burn, and he's gonna just drop to Afro move.
Yeah, the Ignite enough to get him, and 100 Thieves now certainly gonna be moving towards the Baron. You have to think. They have the man advantage. They have Someday pushing in the bottom lane so much stronger right now than Hanser, and this 3-man squad, it's gonna be difficult for them to get over there, but they're not willing to start it up. Both these teams have been so timid about actually starting the Baron.
But Thieves are fine with this. They've got somebody in the side lane, and guess what? His ult's back up. Now Hanser has a stopwatch.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, he's in the brush.
Spectator bug.
Yeah. Getting fixed next patch, I believe. So that'll be nice to see that in a couple of weeks.
Yep, and now it looks like it may be an attempted trade. Golden Guardians don't think they can actually contest this, but the Elder is spawning.
Yeah.
Someday does have everything. There is a chance that he could try to go for the hero play with the rest of his team moving down. They've pulled off the Baron, so if Golden Guardians can get out, this is great for them.
That is a significant miss by 100 Thieves to give away the 6-stack Elder Dragon. The Elder itself counts as a stack here, so massive burn, and suddenly you have flipped the pressure back to Golden Guardians.
I mean, 100 Thieves could have just actually committed to the Baron, and then at least you have the longer duration buff, and then you can wait till the Elder times out, and then go for it. 100 Thieves certainly panicking in this moment.
Yeah.
Decision paralysis seems like the problem there. Don't want to commit to either play. You end up in the middle, and you get the worst out of both, and here it is one more time. Someday fully confident, going straight in onto Hanser. And he does get the Seraphs up, but he's just destroyed, unable to flash out of there. And then you can see down so low. Look at the health bar in the bottom left.
63, 29, 8,
1.
Not even close. He knew.
One more health than he needed.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Obvious. You might want to tweet your big plays to hashtag LCS big plays. Just a thought.
That was a good one. And now Golden Guardians with this huge Elder, they can just start up Baron. I mean, I don't think the 100 Thieves are going to want to fight you when you have this massive Elder advantage. So it's them going straight onto the Baron. 100 Thieves look like they're just basically going to try to have onto steal, and that's it. But Olay is here to bodyguard. It's just a free Baron.
Okay. Both major neutrals are picked up now, back to back. Baron buff is going to last for quite a while here, and this gold lead is back sizably with Golden Guardians. The only thing taken back was bot lane tier 2. Mid lane got pushed in, but no damage was dealt.
Yeah, I mean, a really big swing for Golden Guardians, and they're back certainly in control of the game. We'll see if they now can get something done with this Baron buff. These two teams really struggling to kind of find the way to close out this game. Now Golden Guardians has both those major buffs for 35 more seconds. They have a window here where they are certainly far and away stronger than their opponents.
How much can you take then? That's the impetus. This is your probably strongest point in the game. Maybe if you get second Elder, it's even more so, but this is such a great window to come through and patch up the holes. And they're gonna knock down this top lane tier 2. The champion's gonna take the aggro for a bit, but there's number 1. Elder Dragon still lasting for 10 more seconds. They have a little bit of the siege. Get a couple auto attacks in, but they'll let it get wave cleared. Baron's still on though for 2.5.
They have an Answer pushing in mid lane. You know, he's going to be able to knock down that. That's a second turret going their way. You want to see them try to play very aggressively here. And now 100 Thieves know the Elder has expired. So despite the fact that Baron buff is still giving combat stats, this is a winnable fight if 100 Thieves can play it well with the Elder down.
Yeah, the extra golden from the turrets, of course, still in pockets, but a couple 100 Thieves members actually have yet to buy as well. The inventory is getting cluttered, and there's not easy upgrades available for the cash on hand. Someday waiting in the back lines. They might go for this one right
flash.
here.
He could go from
Zach
behind.
wants it. And they're going to pull back. Seeing the slingshot charge, they know better. Discretion.
Yeah, and Golden Guardian's kind of sussing this out a bit. Contract's checking the sides, making sure that Someday isn't behind them. He sees that he is. But they don't have really wards available, it seems, to actually keep eyes on Someday on that side of the map. So for now, they're just waiting for Froggen to push in top. They're trying to have these two Baron waves crash at the same time. And in they go, but definitely relatively short range.
Nice. Pulverize stops the Zac. Now they're looking at Someday, who can jump the wall. Explosive cast almost gets him back across, but no.
Yeah, Contract's not able to hit that. Would have had to throw it, I think, a lot earlier. It seemed like he hesitated a bit on if he wanted to go for the play, then decided he would. And it was too late as Someday does escape and healing up in base. There are flank wards that he could look for, but Golden Guardian's going to step up and be able to knock down an inhibitor turret. 100 Thieves just not willing to fight for it.
You're not going to defend the turret. You almost certainly lose the inhibitor itself. Still 50 seconds
on
this one. Yeah, the mid lane about to drop. The minion's doing the work. There's the gold coming across. And that inhib is now 2 shots from dead.
I mean, they're just seeding everything. You gave over the Elder, you gave over the Baron, you're giving over both of your inhibitor towers, and now an inhibitor without even trying to fight, and this is just 100 Thieves feel like they're just rolling over and dying.
But Azael, this is where 100 Thieves wants them. Think back to yesterday where they gave CG a perfect game only to win later on, so they're just setting them up for failure, putting up high so they can fall.
They're definitely not out of it by any means, but you want to see them fighting for some of these objectives. They're not so far behind that they can't. They have strong scaling, and they're just kind of seeding everything.
Yeah, no, they are. They're seeding everything, hoping it grows into a beanstalk, but right now it's Bang just getting pushed right back out, and that's going to be double inhibitors down.
I mean, what can you say about that, right? That they're not willing to fight for it. You're going to lose everything eventually. Their base now in shambles. The second Elder as an even better win condition is available for Golden Guardians in 1 minute.
Yeah,
100 Thieves certainly have to actually look to fight for that. But it's going to be very difficult then with 2 waves of supers pushing you in across the map. Someday, still really strong on this Riven, but people are catching up.
Yeah. Someday still has the most gold in the game, and his team is losing. That's always a heartbreaker there when you really did so much in this one. The swings back and forth. There was a time they were actually ahead, and then they just forgot that Elder Dragon spawned, stopped their own Baron take.
No shield.
Away everything. Goodbye. Burn. He's dead. There's nothing can save him. They cut that shield.
Guardian. Oh, he had like 10 health there.
Not even close.
100 Thieves getting away with it again. He will escape, and that is big because the Elder's right about to spawn. Still, it's going to send him back to base. And remember, Golden Guardians doesn't need to force a start because the waves will push in with supers in the top. That wave is eventually going to push. Golden Guardians can be patient and wait for that to arrive. You can also see there's no one answering the bot lane push, so definitely 6 items now on this Lucian. Full build, walks up, knocks down another turret. They're trying to control this jungle area. And Golden Guardians have to make sure that they're not going to get flanked because they are very separated here. This seems like a really awkward fight that they're putting themselves in. Haunter's on the dragon, and the rest of the team is all split up.
For some didn't move. 5v4, but Bang has 2 health, so there's no fight to be had.
Froggen chunked him out, so they have to back off, and Haunter is just doing the dragon
Gonna try anyway. He's gonna go in without the AD carry at all. Turns into Bloblets right away. Here comes the re-engage. They find a Summer. Someday is still not in range. They're still gonna be able to burn down this Elder Dragon, and this is the most massive Elder Dragon you have seen in pro play. It's a 7-stack double buff. This is gonna be massive. Here they go. Down he goes. This is going to be the push in for the Nexus. There is no chance you stop this. There's simply too much damage. The GA can't save him either. Someday is going to drop. It's Monday already. We'll see him next week. Now in forward, and look at that burn. Bang is burning. He has a giant Seraph shield and barely makes it back to the fountain, but there is no defense to be had. Golden Guardians will win this game. They will improve the 5 and 7. They are in playoff position. That ult doesn't matter. The base is gone, and Golden Guardians will crush 100 Thieves in the team fight.
I mean, I'm almost at a bit of a loss for words. I have to say, that performance in the late game from 100 Thieves is one of the most disappointing things that I have ever seen. They just didn't fight for anything. And Golden Guardians are happy to take what felt like a pretty easy late game win. They're not contested at the Elder, not contested at the Baron, not contested at the second Elder, not contested at either of the inhibitors, and Golden Guardians say, yeah, sure, we'll take it all. And they take the win as well.
The one time they contest was when Bang was at 2 HP and was forced to recall, and Context goes, that's the time to engage. We don't have Ezreal, let's take a team fight. Oh, weird, they lost that one. I agree, this was a disappointing end. 200 Thieves, who had pulled back a miracle comeback yesterday, this time, they did the end of the game that you expected of rolling over and just letting the game finish out.
Well, it felt like they had such a strong late game comp that you expected them to try to contest, right? They did have the Ezreal kind of fully online, Victor looking very strong. They had this side lane advantage for Someday. It felt like they had a lot working for them, but never chose their moment to fight. And Golden Guardians, the better team on the day, despite the fact that Haunter was behind, the rest of the team played very well. And I have to give so much credit to Froggen, who I think was a huge standout in this game. His Zoe was on point, constantly poking people out, constantly getting picks. And he was a huge reason, not only did they win that final fight where he had pushed Bang out, but also of them stacking up all these dragons earlier throughout the game because he was constantly poking people out and pushing them off those neutrals, which got them the win condition. So credit to him for an incredible performance.
Yep, he did really well. Bot lane pressure helped make those dragons happen on top of that one. So it was a good game, and Golden Guardians won it. But now we're going to send it down the Riv for an interview with the victorious mid laner.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by Golden Guardians. Froggen, after they picked the pocket of 100 Thieves, moving up in the standings, looking for a playoff spot. I got to ask you, Froggen, your 10th unique picking up kills on Zoe this game. Do you feel like you have done what you set out to do coming into this spring split as Froggen, the mid laner?
I think there's still a lot of things I would like to do. Obviously, it's always fun to play Zoe. It's one of my most successful champions, so I don't know, it's fun to pull it out, and I had a chance to do it this game.
And Golden Guardians had the rough 1 week, the rough second week. What changed for you guys? What have you identified that has kind of allowed these wins to start flowing in now week after week?
I think we just got to spend some more time together, practice a lot more, and we're still trying to figure out our identity. We still have a lot of things to work on. We especially saw that in the games yesterday. Like, we're able to get leads. We just now need to be able to play the game outright and close it out. And then I think we would be in a really good spot.
And 2 more questions. In that game, it was pretty hectic, and you're saying you're finding these ways to close out the leads. Where were the voices coming from in there? Is everybody kind of in the community voice, or is there one big voice when you're really making those game-changing plays?
I think this game was kind of, I don't know, it was a little weird because a lot of people on the map was like much stronger than their counterpart. So it played out kind of weird. I'm not really sure. So we're trying to make up a plan and then just go with whatever plan we made. And I mean, I'm playing Zoe. I'm just kind of chilling. Got 2 Infernal Dragons. Got my death cap. You know, I'm gonna hit somebody at some point, and they're gonna die.
You look like you were having a lot of fun that game. Final question, quick answers. CLG and Liquid next week. How are you feeling about those games? Is the prep going to be any different?
Yeah, I think we try to prep differently for every single team. We're trying to figure out what we want to do and what's strong on the different patches. I think I'm looking forward to playing TL again since last time. We actually ended up with a lead, and I think if we have like we should be much better at team fighting and playing around that this time around. So hopefully we can get into the same kind of scenario and try to beat them.
Well, already looking forward. Best of luck to you and Golden Guardians. We're going to throw it to the State Farm analyst desk to break down the rest of that game.
Thank you very much, Riv. Golden Guardians moving to 5-7 with that victory over 100 Thieves. Before we get into the game itself and kind of maybe ourselves figure out how it was that Golden Guardians crafted a victory, as Froggen seemed a little wishy-washy on that one himself.
It was interesting.
I do want to take a look at draft. Mark, I know you have some thoughts on this last pick, Riven.
Yeah, well, it's about the whole thing that's got them there, because it feels like coming to this weekend, it was like someday was like, I'm going to play Riven, guys. And like there was nothing that was going to stop him. We saw it yesterday into Karma top, like, yep, Riven into Karma top, why not? And then today, if you know you're going into Riven, I don't really like leaving the Lucian up as a first pick. He's the strongest AD in the meta right now. He's like basically permaban status, and you give it up, so you're extra sacrificing your bot side when you already know you're sending your resources in-game to the top side, which made the game more difficult to play, I think.
To me, after the nerfs to Lucian's W, Ezreal is right up there with it, and Bang is a very good Ezreal. And one of my win conditions yesterday for 100 Thieves was to return to a later game style that they actually found success on. So for me, I was like, okay, cool. Sacrifice some early game and go more with the later game marksman. So I kind of liked it.
Right. Ezreal Braum is a pretty strong lane versus Lucian Alistar anyway. It's just that they kind of got dove and played lane a bit poorly. So I don't think that situation is always available for that Lucian to do if 100 Thieves played it better.
But you know the dive is coming bot lane because your jungler's camping top for your Riven. I mean, that's my problem with it is not that this lane is normally a problem, but when you know you're picking Riven top and you're picking Zach to go dive a lane with that, you're not going to get help bot lane. And, you can back off the wave and play it better bot, of course. But I think you can pick a less dominant marksman than leave up a less dominant marksman than the Lucian. If you ban Lucian and they take Ezreal, it's not diving your bot lane. You're fine. Like, even though Ezreal's very strong, I don't think leaving Lucian up is a great pick. Didn't end up influencing the game. I think by the time we start getting into it, it was an afterthought at that
point. But to your point, 100 Thieves very much focused into the top side of the map, trying to get someday ahead on that Riven. Ahead he got. Unfortunately, he didn't garner them the victory, as from the mid to the bot side of the map, Golden Guardians was picking up the kills.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the split thing where Froggen in the mid lane on Zoe was gaining so much, kept getting kills.
He played super well.
And then he was able to roam around, find these Zoe bubbles as well. And then in the side lane, it was the other side for 100 Thieves. Right. They had the Riven that was a menace and was starting to get solo kills. But it didn't matter, James. You're right. It came down to macro.
That's the thing, right? We go into that mid-game very even, and so we got to take a look at the way that both of these teams piloted that mid-game. Some questionable decision-making out of 100 Thieves around the global objectives.
I think everyone watching this is really confused because, one, they peel off the Baron, don't even take the Baron. But when I'm watching this video, what I'm thinking about is how come the 100 Thieves vision control is so terrible here? They have 4 different pink wards and then all the wards over at Baron, and you know the enemy team has 5 dragons. How come you have 0 wards except for this little blue ward in the red forest, and they have a wasted pink and they're missing a pink? So good teams will have 5 pinks on the map when Elder Dragon and Baron are spawning, and the fact that there isn't a single pink at the Elder Dragon speaks volumes to me about their vision control game. I don't care about their decision. That's something that is hard to do given a game. But something easy to do is vision control. It's so easy to buy a pink ward. Like, you're missing one on the map, you have one that's useless at your red buff, and who trades a Baron for a 5-stack Elder?
Well, also,
it wasn't a trade.
Hold on, it wasn't.
It was supposed to be a trade, at least.
It's easy to stay on the Baron after you're like, oh shoot, we messed up. We left the Elder Dragon open to the 5 elemental Drake team. Let's finish this Baron and we'll recall.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
leave it.
I 100% agree with High's point. They messed up by not having good enough vision control. But then they have absolutely no idea of how long it's going to take to get there. They weren't close to that Elder Dragon. Right. Bang was recalling, thinking he had time to recall and TPN.
You doubled down on your screw up,
right?
By peeling off the Baron and saying we're gonna go try and contest.
And it wasn't close. They showed up there and they just barely got it, and they had to flash over the wall or something. They weren't close. And then they go grab the Baron, and then they have double late game neutral objectives taking your entire base. It was an insane macro.
And understanding that from there, they are now in a hole. But the macro mistakes continued in the game-ending fight, choosing to fight while Bang is, again, 2 HP, recalling the base. You know, I know they're trying to defend against a double Elder, but you're really just digging a hole at this point.
I was a very, very disappointed father.
Right. The game.
That's what this game was.
The game wasn't like that, quote unquote, bad in the beginning, but as the game progressed and seeing the decisions that these teams make, I don't know. My mind is boggled about who's
back
making
in there,
the calls
High.
on these games.
They're missing the shot caller.
Like you give away the free 5-stack Elder, you don't even take the Baron, you don't even put Pinks there, and then you take a fight immediately after you lose all your objectives when your AD carry is at 1 health, and I don't know.
Let's talk about this Golden Guardian squad, though, moving to 5 and 7, because I think that's something important to acknowledge, right? This is a team that was struggling in the early portions of this split. There were a lot of questions around, oh no, are they doomed yet again to finish in the bottom 3 or 2? But 5 and 7, they're challenging and very much in playoff position.
And you can see they're trying to change their playstyle a little bit. Both days they've had more early game focused stuff. Haunter is no longer just stuck on tank duty, and I like that they're trying to do it. There is some good stuff there. It was actually, they had a lead in this game, despite how big Someday was. They were in the lead for this game for a period of time. So I do think they're doing a better job of changing their playstyle up.
And as it is not Monday, not
Mid-late Monday on Sunday.
But it's mid-late Monday on Sunday.
Yes.
I do like that they're focusing Froggen. You know, Contracts keeps throwing early ganks towards Froggen. He is thriving, and it is paying dividends for them.
It very much is. We've got to take a quick break. When we return, it's Cloud9 versus TSM. If you've got a friend missing that